Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Caroline and this is my channel, Caroline's Plans, where I take you through different plan with me's. This is a new variety for my channel. It is a monthly plan with me in my Erin Condren teacher planner. This is the Erin Condren planner that I'm currently working out of. I've been putting together my weekly spreads in Aura Estelle cloud inserts and taping them into this planner, but I wanted to try something new where I fill out a monthly highlights spread in the current planner that I'm using. You saw some leftovers from a My Perfect Plan kit that I used as my weekly this week, as well as some washi tapes that I'll be using. They're very old, from Michael's, I believe. I used a collection of washi tapes that I felt matched the colors of the leftovers I wanted to use. I used 2 of my leftover full boxes from the My Perfect Plan kit as inspiration for this monthly spread, as well as 2 of the heart checklists that were leftovers from this kit. I don't tend to use the heart checklists, so I was able to utilize 2 of them in the sidebar for this monthly spread, so I was happy about that. In the past, planning in my Erin Condren teacher planner in a decorative way has been a lot of franken planning, a lot of cutting stickers down to make things fit, because the dimensions are much larger in the Erin Condren teacher planner than the life planner, so I've had to move a lot of things around. So switching to the Aura Estelle inserts just made things a lot smoother, but I did want to try something new this month and do a highlights video. I've seen other people on YouTube do this, the monthly highlights format. It did take a lot of whiteout to cover up the green on the top of this monthly spread, so I saved you all from that headache and cut those clips out. I think, if I remember right, I haven't looked at my new Erin Condren life planner, but I think that the new ones, the neutral won't have the colors like this one does, so it'll make monthly and weekly spreads a lot easier with a lot less whiteout, which is exciting. That's the main reason why I did move away from planning inside this planner, is having to do all the whiting out, so not having to do that will be a nice change. Let's see, as I said, the washi tapes that I'm using are from Michael's, I believe. They're all really old. That ruler that I was using to cut the washi is also really old. It's from elementary school. I'll link a similar one down below. If I forget, please remind me. And I was just using my washi, or my whiteout, to white out that green bar for the notes, so I could leave room for my first full box. I love these Fashion Girls in this kit from My Perfect Plan, so I wanted to use another one. I used the blonde one in my weekly spread this week, but I wanted to use the redhead to be the top of my sidebar for this monthly highlights spread, since the dimensions of the columns are much wider than the standard for the Erin Condren life planner. I did create sort of a frame here for both of the boxes that I used. It was a bit tedious, but kind of fun, planner math and all that. So For this monthly highlights plan with me, I wanted to start by answering some questions that I got off of Facebook. I received 2 additional questions since my last voiceover, so I was very happy about that. One came from the Glam Planner Facebook group, and the second came from the Scribble Prints Co. Facebook group. The first question that I'll answer comes from the Glam Planner group from Sharon Ann. She asks if I use 1 kit per week. How exactly do I use that 1 kit? I'm assuming that question is asking about other ways that I might use a kit that I use, the leftovers, maybe. I think that's what that question is asking. I do use 1 kit per week, and I don't tend to use the same kit twice, so I don't tend to make 2 separate spreads from 1 kit. I said this in my last video, I believe. So I do use 1 kit per week. I will sometimes use the extras if I have any from mini kits or weekly kits in monthlies like this. I was able to use some leftovers from my kit for this week for this spread. I also use my extras for things like my vision boards for my goals. I use leftovers to make Happy Meal that I send out, other crafting projects, and if I have any leftovers after that, I will save them in my leftovers binder, which I'm sure you all have seen in my sticker organization videos. Let's see. The second question that I have was from the SPC Facebook group. It's from JAILENE. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. She asks, what do you use to store your stickers, both characters and kits? Good question. I will link the pocket protectors that I use down below. I use 2 different sizes for stickers that are characters and kits, respectively. Both varieties come from Amazon. I use the 2 pocket protectors for kits. It's the perfect size, and the same size in 4 pockets to store character stickers or smaller sheets. Sometimes I do have to cut these character sticker sheets down to fit in the 4 pocket protectors, but I usually don't have to. 2 shops that I can think of that I do have to cut their sheets down, which is fine. It's great to get so many stickers at one time, but they do not fit. Their sheet size don't fit in the 4 pockets. Mama Gloria's shop on Etsy, her sheets are rather large, so I do have to cut those down in order to fit in the 4 pocket protectors. Also, some sheets of icons from Pumpkin Paper Co. I do need to cut down to fit, but again, I'm more than happy to do that for getting more stickers for your money. Let's see. Thank you both to JAILENE and Sharon for your questions. I really enjoy answering questions in these videos. It takes a lot of the pressure off of having to keep up and narrate with every single sticker I'm putting down. So please continue sending me those questions either on Instagram or Facebook, and any requests for videos, leave them in a comment below or on any of your social medias. I just wanted to go through and talk through some of the highlights from the month, which you'll see in a minute. Right now I'm just going through and finishing up that sidebar. I did put in 2 full boxes leftovers from that weekly kit, as well as 2 checklists that were leftovers as well. The sidebar checklists I'm going to use to track books that I'm reading, either print books or audiobooks, books that I've finished, keep a list. And I'd love to do a book review, or what I'm reading, what I'm listening to in terms of books, a video dedicated to that if you all are interested. I like watching videos like that include book reviews, or talk about books that people are enjoying. I think that's a common theme inside this planner community, so I'm happy to do a video like that if you all are interested. Let me know in a comment below. And the other checklist box that I'll be including in the sidebar is for positive thoughts. I saw Taylor, Tattoo Teacher Plans, usually includes what she calls a prayer list in her monthly setups. She usually puts that, I believe, on one of her notes pages at the beginning of the month. But I did want to include a list of people or situations or things like that I just want to give a little bit more attention and thought and well wishes to this month. I like to have those sorts of things in mind when I do things like meditate. I like to quite literally meditate on those things that need positive energy in my life, again, whether it be people or situations, things like that. So I'll be using that second checklist for that purpose. And at the bottom of my sidebar, I want to reflect on my favorite moment from the month. So I included a small quarter box at the bottom of the sidebar to quickly note that, and I will fill that in at the end of part 2 of this video, which will come at the end of the month. Let's see. The first highlight, I bought lighting this month. Yay! I was noticing that my videos, the brightness of my videos, I felt like it made it look, I don't know, lower quality and just not as professional. So I did follow the direct link to the lighting that Andrea suggested. Andrea from Scribble Prints Co. She has a link in most of her description boxes to her Amazon store, where she has a page for the tools and things that she uses to film her videos. She linked a set of lights that I bought and have been enjoying very much to augment the quality of my videos. I think it's helped a lot with shadows, for sure. I was struggling with that for a while. So that's been a nice improvement, and my lighting got delivered this month, at the beginning of the month. Let's see. Another big thing that I thought was kind of funny that I wanted to share was that this month, at the beginning of the month, our AC in our house was not working. We purchased this home in November, so right around Thanksgiving, late fall, early winter, so we hadn't really needed the AC until it started to be like 70, 80, 90 degrees. And when we turned it on, it just wasn't quite getting cool enough, and we had some really, really rough days there for a while. But we did get our AC fixed at the beginning of this month, which was very exciting and quite a relief, so I wanted to put that in as a highlight for that day. And we had a really good experience with the gentleman that came out to repair it. He was respectful with social distancing and all that, arrived on time, didn't take very long. The issue with our AC wound up being something that we probably could have fixed ourselves, but you know, new homeowner, first time homeowner problems. We'll know for next time. And we've had a lot more comfortable living experiences since then. I did think it was very appropriate to mark the AC repair with a pair of spray bottles. Before the repairman came, for about the week and a half that it was really, really hot, like in the 90s, in our house, and it was just unbearable. My husband and I were spraying ourselves with water just to try and stay cool, and I just thought it was kind of funny to try and mark that event that we finally got our AC fixed with a pair of spray bottles to remember that funny little bonding experience. Let's see. The 9th was a big day for me. It was the first day that I went out and did errands since this whole quarantine has been in effect. It was the most amount of time I've spent out and about since quarantine, since stay at home. I've really been trying to stay in as much as possible for my health and for the health of my loved ones, and just because I consider it best practice with everything going on. But this day, on the 9th, I went out. I went to my doctor's office to pick up a prescription. I've done that before with curbside pickup from the pharmacy. My doctor's office is really efficient with that. You just call ahead, let them know approximately what time you're coming. You can order your prescription online, pay for it online, and then all you have to do is drive up, call them to let them know that you've arrived, and someone will bring it out to you. It's like super easy. And on this day, I also had to go to the post office to deliver some packages for my students. For those of you who don't know, I am a teacher, and we were celebrating the end of the school year this week on the 11th, and I wanted to mail to each of my students a diploma certificate type thing that I made for them. So I wanted to mail them, and to make sure that they arrived on time, I had to take them to a central distribution center type post office that's relatively close to my house, but still a little bit of a drive. So I had to drive quite a bit that day. So that was quite an outing for me, considering I hadn't spent much time outside of the house before this. And I came home that day, was tired from being out, and yeah, it was a big day. The next day was the 10th. This was the day before our last day of school. It was the day of our final staff meeting for my school. In the past, this staff meeting has been a really joyful experience. We'll all come together. Every teacher and staff member in the school will come together in our cafeteria and celebrate. There's usually raffles, little games, people giving speeches. We celebrate the retirees or people that have hit milestones for years of service, or anyone who's leaving to pursue another job or what have you. Our principal was also retiring this year, so that was a big deal. But with everything going on, we've been working remotely since mid-March. So for this day of celebration, we were all in our own homes and on the video chat program that we've been using since distance learning began in March. And it was weird. It was very weird, just sort of everyone being logged in and, watching our end of the year slideshow and celebrating our principal and celebrating everybody's years of service and retirements and things like that, just virtually, was really weird. It was weird being by myself in my house while we were supposed to be celebrating the end of the year and all of our accomplishments. It was weird finishing it up and then going and doing laundry. I'm really kind of over it, the whole, distance learning and distance working and teleworking. I'm glad that the year is over, but it just doesn't really feel like it's over. That leads me into the events of the 11th. The 11th, as I mentioned earlier, was our last day of school for the school year. It was weird. It was really nice, don't get me wrong. We were able to celebrate virtually. So I had already sent out the students' diplomas, certificates that I made them. And my team and I had planned our end of the year celebration that again would happen virtually. So we had our daily sort of morning gathering as a whole class, but instead of doing our teaching portion, we celebrated. So I had put together a slideshow, a Google slide deck of digital certificates for each student, so I could call their name and acknowledge each student for completing the year. And I included some pictures from the year that I had. I didn't have many, but I included what I had. And my assistant and I also recorded some sort of goodbye videos for the kids that I included at the end of the presentation. So it was much shorter than we would have liked, and obviously a lot less personal than we would have liked or would have done in the past. In years past, when we've all been together for an end of the year celebration, it's a madhouse in our classroom. Our classrooms are pretty small, which is fine. I like it that way. But when you pack all the kids, most of the time at least one family member per child, sometimes multiple family members, siblings, extended family members, into this tiny little room, it gets a little crazy. And then, I usually get up and give a speech, and the kids are, going crazy, but having a great time. And they get to come up and get their certificate and get a hug, and I get to talk to the parents afterwards and give them hugs and, say hi to siblings that I've taught in the past. And it's just a really wonderful and joyful day. I usually spend about an hour on the floor taking pictures with my kids. And it's really exhausting and wonderful at the same time. The whole thing usually lasts about 3 hours, and we're having to usher people out because they just want to stick around and chat and give well wishes and give thanks for the year that their student has had, and it's wonderful. But we didn't get that this year, so I've just been processing that a little bit and hoping for a sort of do-over next year, at the end of next year. And we are planning a sort of final goodbye sort of get together at the school once it reopens and everything is safe and we're all good to come back together. We are going to come back together and see each other again in person. Let's see. The 12th was my dad's birthday. It was really nice. I called him in the morning to wish him happy birthday, and we had a really nice conversation just about what we've been up to. I got to tell him about school, and he told me about some things that he's doing around his house in quarantine and everything. And we got to talk for about 30 minutes, which was really wonderful. The 13th, Saturday, was another big day. It was the first time that my husband and I went for a walk and really sat and relaxed in the park near our house. We were wearing face masks the whole time and kept our social distance, but it was really nice to be out and under the sky and feel the breeze, and the weather was just beautiful all weekend, so we really soaked it up, really enjoyed it, and just are looking forward to continuing to do that little by little as things get safer. On this day, I finished the audiobook I was listening to, The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith. This was the second audiobook that I have finished since I've started listening to audiobooks recently. Since then, I've started the second book. The Cuckoo's Calling is the first in the Robert Galbraith Cormoran Strike Detective series. Since finishing that audiobook, I've started the second book in the series called The Silkworm. I purchased the print version on Amazon and I am about a quarter of the way through it now. I'm enjoying it as a sort of wind down to go to sleep at night, which has been nice. Let's see. I'm definitely enjoying my time and space to read more. That's been a goal of mine for summer, and just more recently is to get more into reading print books. When I was younger, I used to be able to read just all day long. Could just sit and read all day long, especially on vacations, like going to the beach and stuff. I would just sit on the beach or in the beach house and just read all day long. I think my stamina for reading has gone down just with having to focus on other things for work and just in life. My stamina for reading has gone down, so I'm trying to make that a focus this summer while I have a little bit of extra free time. If anybody has any recommendations for books that they're enjoying, please leave them in a comment down below. Let's see. Oh, the 14th was a funny story. It was a weekend day, and I had a pizza disaster. That's the note that I'm reading right now to remind myself of this story. So I had a craving for pizza this night, and I remembered that I had a frozen pizza in the freezer. I had ordered it in our grocery delivery order at the beginning of the week, and I remembered that I had it in the freezer. I was super excited. I preheated the oven, went to put the pizza in the oven. It was supposed to go in without a cookie sheet, a baking sheet. So you were just supposed to kind of put the pizza by itself on the oven rack, directly on the oven rack. That's what the directions told me, so I went to try and do that. I nudged the pizza about halfway in onto the rack, and then somehow my hand got positioned wrong, and the pizza flipped on its top, the topping side. It flipped completely upside down and slid underneath the very bottom rack of my oven somehow. And my mom was smart. When we first moved into this house, she lined the bottom of her oven with tin foil so that if anything were to drip while baking, it wouldn't bake to the bottom of the oven and make burning smoky mess. However, the pizza, somehow, when my hand nudged it, it flipped topping side down and slid underneath the protective foil layer. I don't know how it happened. It was a crazy freak accident. And I was panicking. It was just all of a sudden, just cheese and sauce and bread were just completely burning instantly to the bottom of my oven, creating smoke and steam and all kinds of craziness. And I was freaking out, trying to get it out, but trying not to burn myself. And my husband came to try to help me, and we eventually just decided to just leave it alone, turn off the oven, close it up, and we were able to get the crust out, but all of the toppings pretty much were left on the bottom of the oven, and we had to just turn off the oven and let it cool down. And I haven't opened it back up to see the damage yet, but I did purchase Easy Off from Amazon, which, if you don't know, is a brand of heavy-duty oven cleaner. And hopefully, after liberal application of Easy Off, I should be able to hopefully remove the cheesy mess that is currently on the bottom of my oven. Let's see. On the 16th, I put out some requests on both Facebook and Instagram for questions to include in future videos. I did get some questions that I was happy about. I put it down as a highlight for this day because I actually had enough questions to, for the first time, create a sort of backlog list. I had extra questions, which I was very excited about. And I was able to use these questions at the beginning of this video, as you heard. The questions from Sharon and JAILENE that I mentioned earlier. Keep the questions coming, either in a comment below on Instagram or Facebook, wherever you would like, and as well as keep any requests for future videos coming. I'm making YouTube a priority this summer as I try and relax and do things that make me happy. So keep them coming. I'm loving the support that you all have given my channel. Thank you so much. And yeah, thanks so much for being here and for listening. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, and all those things. That really helps me out. And I'll see you soon. Peace, love, and happy planning. Bye-bye.